Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about what is the Eagle Act and isn't it, in fact, a new Patriot Act kind of deal. The answer is quite simply, potentially. So basically, for those who don't know what the Eagle Act is, this is something the Democrats have been pushing for, I think, the past couple months is what it is. Like, it's probably one of these things that's actually been pushed behind closed doors for like several years, just like the Patriot Act was before 9/11. And the thing is, what it seems like they're trying to do is basically fuck over American citizens and screw us out of actually good paying jobs again, is what it is, by allowing a bunch of corporate investors and a bunch of lobbyists, corporate lobbying and stuff like that to continue on and fuck with our country, is what it is, dude. So basically, going to Breitbart here, they had an article come up today. It says Eagle Act to spike more corporate scandals like Twitter and Theranos. I think that's how I pronounce that name of that company with that Elizabeth Holmes. I think that's what that girl's name was. So anyway, as it says here, it says Democrats pending Eagle Act is being pushed by West Coast investors would create more corporate scandals by allowing CEOs to hire more subordinate and silent visa workers instead of outspoken American professionals. The investor-backed GOP leadership has yet to rally against the Eagle Act, which may come as early as today for a vote. So the vote would come just a week after the Pakistani-born president of Theranos Inc. was sentenced to 11 years in jail for a series of corporate crimes that were enabled by the company's replacement of American professionals with powerless H-1B visa workers. I've always had a problem with that, dude. Any of these fucking visa holders, it's a bunch of bullshit, dude. Whether it be H-1B, whether it be fucking, I think there's one that's like H3 or F3 or something like that. And yeah, it's all a bunch of crap, dude, is what it is. It's just a way for them to fuck over Americans and actually paying decent work to paying decent wages to American citizens for good work and actually having Americans have a real say in these companies is what it is, dude. Because like with that, if you're an H-1B visa holder, it's basically, oh, you want to, come out against the company or be a whistleblower, whatever the case be. Well, I guess you better hope you go back to your country of origin then and have a fun time there. And that's what they do. They usually deport their asses, what it is, and replace them with somebody else. That's what it ends up being. So anyway, says the biggest problem of all at Theranos was the dysfunctional corporate culture in which it was being developed, wrote a former Wall Street Journal reporter, John Carreyrou, I think is the person's name, in his book about Theranos titled Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup. Says founder Elizabeth Holmes and Pakistani-born Sunny President Ramesh Balwani regarded anyone who raised a concern or an objection as a cynic and a naysayer. Employers who persisted in doing so were usually marginalized or fired, while sycophants were promoted. For the dozens of Indians Theranos employed, the fear of being fired was more than just the dread of losing a paycheck. Most were on H-1B visas and dependent on their continued employment at the company to remain in the country. With a despondent boss like Sonny holding their fates in his hands, it was akin to indentured servitude. Sonny, in fact, had a master-servant mentality common among an older generation of Indian businessmen. Employees were his minions. He expected them to be at his disposal at all hours of the day or night and on the weekends. He checked the security logs every morning to see when they badged in and out. Every evening around 7:30, he made a flyby of the engineering department to make sure people were still at their desks working. That's fucking insane, dude. Like that is some insane shit right there for real, man. Anyway, continuing on here, it says the same chaos was created at Twitter, where top managers relied on a huge influx of powerless foreign technology graduates, aka people. This is what pisses me off the most, by the way. So you've had for the past 20, 25 years or so, give or take, American citizens, kids coming up in high school and stuff like that being told, oh, just go to college and get a tech degree. Just go to college and get a tech degree. And then they import a bunch of fucking foreign nationals on H-1B visas, etc., that take these jobs out from under us, is what it is, dude. For like half the wage or whatever it is, or less in some cases. And yeah, it's just a way to fuck over Americans, is what it is, dude. But yeah, as I said here, it said a huge influx of powerless foreign technology graduates to write the software while it hired myriad U.S. non-technological graduates to throttle Americans' free speech. The site, My Visa Jobs, uses government data to show that the company tried to hire more than 1,000 foreign, Indian, Chinese, and other graduates in the last 4 years. I'd be willing to bet it's more than that even. And then obviously there's the Twitter Inc. and the amount of people they tried to hire that were all foreign nationals and stuff like that in the last few years there. So and we are going to talk about this in a couple minutes, where we got lobbyists try to slip controversial JCPA media cartel bill into omnibus bill. Again, this is why you don't fucking allow omnibus bills to be a thing, dude, in this country. I've said that in the last several episodes, actually. Anyway, getting back on though, it said, unlike U.S. professionals, these foreign contract workers do not have the professional autonomy or legal standing to disagree with profit maximizing CEOs and senior managers who want to dodge federal rules and professional quality standards. But if passed, the Eagle Act would allow executives to replace many more U.S. professionals with subordinate and complacent visa workers. The act would turbocharge the Fortune 500 practice of annually recruiting more than 200,000 foreign college graduates, mostly from India and China, which how is that not a foreign takeover, by the way, for the white-collar careers that are needed by young American graduates. Indians are mostly hired by technology subcontractors for mid-skill jobs, but the Chinese are often imported by high-end research and banking jobs. Again, why would you let these fucking people in our tech sector, dude, ever? Why would you let them have their hands in our fucking technology, in our banking, etc., dude, that they could then turn around and fuck us over is what it is. That's just stupid as fuck, honestly, dude. And that's why, honestly, I'm gonna say it like it is, dude. This is why fucking visa shit needs to be outlawed in this country entirely, especially H-1B visa crap is what it is, dude. Because of this exact reason right here, honestly. Because it's a fucking security threat to national security is what it would be. Anyway, said these foreign graduates take U.S. jobs via the uncapped H-1B, L1, OPT, TN, and J1 programs. Each year, roughly 70,000 foreign workers are given the deferred bonus of green cards by U.S. executives as compensation for a decade of subordinate labor. Roughly 1.5 million foreign college graduates now hold indentured servitude jobs. The Eagle Act bill would lift some diversity rules and so allow the Fortune 500 mid-skill Indians to take nearly all of the annual supply of the 140,000 corporate green cards for many years. But Section 7 of the Eagle Act would expand and accelerate this indentured service outsourcing. It would allow U.S.-based employers to quickly trade the huge prize of lifetime U.S. work permits to foreign workers in exchange for several years of cut-rate blue-collar or white-collar service. The fast-track, government-sanctioned Section 7 bonus, if made law, would pressure U.S. companies to replace Americans with many more of the lower-wage foreign nationals who help keep payroll and profit margins at high demands by Wall Street stock pickers. Said Section 7 of the bill, quote, is an end run around the annual green card limit. Representative Scott Fitzgerald, Republican from Wisconsin, told the House Committee on the Rules on December 5th. He added, The result is that many temporary visas will essentially become permanent because the alien visa holders will be able to live and work in the U.S. if they had, as if they had a green card. Of course, this will further strangle the ability of Americans to get good-paying jobs in tech and other sectors. Exactly, dude. And that's what it is, dude. Honestly, like this Eagle Act shit right here is the fucking downfall of America right now, dude. Like this is gonna be the fucking final nail in the coffin, pretty much, kind of stuff, dude. Is what it is. And like as I've said before, when I've made the analogy about the gunpowder and the fucking spark that's gonna be revolution at some point here. Like we're pretty much to that point right now, dude, of like the actual, dude's fucking ash from the cigar hitting the fucking gunpowder and about to blow it the fuck up in the you know storage place is what it is there. In that storage shit or whatever it is in right now. So anyway, continuing on here, it says legal immigrants with green cards, including Indian and Chinese graduates, are much better able to push back against reckless CEOs, especially if they have been directly hired by Americans rather than by networks of home country allies. So the Eagle Act giveaway to Fortune 500 companies is being pushed by West Coast tech investors and executives who are trying to spike short-term stock prices. And by the way, that right there is the kind of Bloomberg shit that got that motherfucker to be a billionaire by short selling stock and stuff is what it was, dude. And that right there should be literally life imprisonment charges on people and stuff, dude. 100%. Anyway, it says those investors include many people who held shares in the $44 billion. Those investors include many people who held shares of the $44 billion that Elon Musk paid to buy Twitter, despite the growing evidence of large-scale fraud and crime by Twitter's imported workforce of Indian managers and workers. Said a July lawsuit by Twitter company's top information security manager described the Twitter chaos under CEO Parag Agwal. I think it's a pronounced like person's name, I'm not sure. Another Indian who was hired by Twitter as a visa worker said in the submission, Munge, Alabama-born Peter Zetto, makes protected lawful disclosures of original evidence showing that the corporation CEO, and that Indian person, particular senior executives and particular members of its board of directors since 2011 and on an ongoing basis have engaged in a extensive, repeated, uninterpreted violations of the Federal Trade Commission Act by making false and misleading statements to users and the FTC about inter alia at the Twitter platform security, privacy, and integrity. B, violations of SEC rules governing public companies, including that thing, as well as auditing requirements. C, fraudulent material representation communication with the board of directors and investors, consulting, security, law violations. And D, negligence and even complacency with respect to efforts by foreign governments to infiltrate, control, exploit, surveil, and or censor the company's platform staff and operations. Yeah, and this is exactly why Elon Musk is doing those Twitter dumps now, by the way. I'd like to point that one out, dude. That proved that 2020 was a whole bunch of collusion there is what it is, dude. So anyway, taking on with this, though, it said, lawsuit detailed numerous alleged legal violations by the company and its Indian CEO. As it said, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically it said, instructed Munge to provide documents which both of them knew to be false and misleading. So yeah, quite literally just a bunch of fucking fraud shit is what it is, dude. It said companies unorganized software and lax management procedures made it extremely vulnerable to hacker attacks, said the lawsuit. The 2020 hack was then the largest hack of a social media platform in history and targeted a global security incident. Moreover, the hack did not involve malware, zero-day exploits, supercomputers, brute forcing their way past encryption or any other sociified approach. In fact, it was pretty simple, pretending to Twitter IT support. The teenage hackers simply called some Twitter employees and asked for their passwords. A few employees were duped and complied, and given systematic flaws in Twitter's access controls, these credentials were enough to achieve God mode, where the teenagers could imposter tweets from any account they wanted to. That's insane, dude. So essentially what they're saying is a bunch of teenagers watched the movie Hackers from 1995 and basically did what that dude did. That's pretty fucked up, man. That's pretty fucked up. And again, just shows how the stupidity going on at these companies is what it is, dude. And why you don't hire a bunch of fucking foreign nationals is what it is. That literally don't know their ass from a hole in the ground most of the fucking time. Anyway, continuing on here, it said companies management allows foreign agents to monitor the use of Twitter by Americans and foreign populations, the lawsuit claimed. Then it talks about Chinese entities. Let's see, it said consider citing to the Russian Federation censorship and surveillance demand as a way to grow users in Russia. So basically censor people to have more users out of Russia is what it was there. Fucking ridiculous. Said shortly before Munge was terminated in January 2022, Twitter received specific information from the U.S. government source that one or more particular company employees were working on behalf of another particular foreign intelligence agency. What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Says many Indian visa workers and Americans have told Breitbart News about the unprofessional, racist, and destructive workplace practices. Politics imported by visa workers. Quote, I was brought on if you find, I was brought up that if you find any technical problem issue, raise it immediately, an American professional told Breitbart News. However, the rules were different in his Intel Corporation office, which were run by an Indian manager, he said. Quote, one of the things that got me in the biggest trouble with the Indians was when I found a bug. It was clearly our device causing the problem, he said. So he released news of the problem via a department email, and the Indian manager, quote, became unglued, screamed at me in a conference room, and called me the worst engineer. The lesson, he said, is when you find a bug, don't announce it to your department colleagues. Announce it to your Indian boss because they want to make sure it's not their problem and not their bug. Don't go through the normal process. Fucking ridiculous, dude. Said, quote, now, most of the managers at Intel are Indian, so it is very hard for an American to get hired over there. I'd go into a room of 30 people, and 15 to 17 of them were from India. How the fuck is that even legal, dude? How is it even legal to have like half the fucking people be a bunch of fucking foreign nationals and visa holders and shit like that, dude? Again, how is this not a national security threat at every single level in this country right now, dude? It 100% is. It's fucking bullshit, dude. Entirely. Anyway, let's see where we're at now. Said they all come from the same area in India. They all know each other. They all hang out together. The Indians are a very tight group. They automatically know the caste system. And that's another thing, too, by the way. They're trying to implement caste systems in these places, dude. Said the guys at the bottom, they know to suck up to the caste guys above them. Says few Indian H-1Bs can act as independent professionals because their indentured service rules allow for Indian and U.S. managers to exile them back to India if they speak out against the what the managers want, said Mary from Central New Jersey, an immigrant software expert. She said, quote, they are very subservient to higher managers. This was her telling that Breitbart in 2020. Back then, she said, I would tell the executive professionally what the issue was, and she didn't like that. You can't oppose her in any way. If she tells you it is black, it has to be black, even if it's white. The Indian workers will feed her what she wants to hear when the information given to the manager is wrong, and that manager does not care. The professionalism of the field is gone. Said the subservience echoes India's caste culture, where high-born individuals dominate lower people, regardless of skill or education. This culture encourages Indian-born managers at U.S. companies to hire subordinates who promise kickbacks, either cash, gifts, or overtime and weekend work. Said Indian hiring managers will stealthily sell American jobs to Indians for $5,000 to $10,000. An Indian H-1B worker told Breitbart, honest Indian managers cannot stop the kickbacks because you can't survive. You will become a bottleneck in the chain. Shit, I just... Okay. Trying to hold my place again. Bottleneck in the chain. Senior managers will fire you. There are very few honest Indian managers, maybe 1 in a million, he added. Said in July 2022, Kevin Lin, the founder of U.S. Tech Workers, told Breitbart News, I know from my conversation with managers in America's Fortune 500 companies, particularly our Fortune 500 technology companies, that a reliance on foreign workers and foreign managers only leads to workplace tribalism and politics. When we see a preponderance of people from one country, let's just use India as an example, career movement throughout the company becomes political and not merit-based, and that's a huge fucking problem right there, by the way, because it's literally fucking identity politics at that point, and it's also, on top of that, it would essentially be affirmative action crap is what it is, dude. Because they're like, oh, you're not going to get, promoted based on the fact that you're the best worker there or whatever the case be. You're going to get promoted based on the fact that you're willing to suck the most dick kind of thing is what it is, dude. Fuck that shit. Anyway, said it becomes tribal because we also import their caste system, their regional rivalries, their crony politics, and their misogyny. They know that's how they've got the job. That's how they're going to stay in the U.S. job with Indian managers and get green cards. These workplace pressures drive out American technological workers because they're technically ill-equipped to deal with that level of office politics. They understand merit. They understand how to solve a technological problem. They can't overcome caste and country of origin discrimination. And that is exactly why we need to fucking ban visas in this country, dude. That is exactly why we need to ban H-1B visas and everything else for that fucking matter, dude. Fuck every single one of these people, dude. Fuck the Indian foreign nationals. Fuck the goddamn Chinese. Fuck them all, dude. It's time for Americans to be in these fucking jobs. And anybody that's got a problem with that can fuck off is what it is, dude. When you're creating damn caste systems in these fucking things because you have too many fucking foreign nationals there, dude, it's time to get rid of the fucking foreign nationals. They're clearly a fucking security threat to our national security and bring back actual patriotism in this fucking country with American citizens having these fucking jobs, dude. The kids that go to college that get $20,000, $40,000, $100,000 in debt or more to go get a damn degree and are the ones that are actually qualified for these fucking positions, not some fucking foreign national coming over with a piece of paper that may not even be worth the fucking shit that's written on it, honestly, dude. From some fucking very ill-equipped fucking college overseas is what it is, dude. If it even is a college for that matter. So anyway, you know, here it said in response, Indian advocates argue that the Indian visa workers are so important to the U.S. economy that Americans cannot afford to fire or deport the Indians. Fuck that. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Quote, there is no longer about diversity, but about survival, claimed, I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, Shiti Ratapania, an Indian advocate investor who now works for the Koch-backed Marriott Center in George Mason University in Virginia. She continued, given changing global dynamics, the country caps immigration rules, objecting Indian talent to Harikari for the U.S. labor market and innovation. If nothing changes and Indian talent cannot easily flow to the U.S. in a few decades, U.S. capital and U.S. firms will move to India. So let them move to fucking India. Said, but corporate outsourcing has been exiling American talents for decades, said one tech professional who followed her father, mother, and grandfather into the technological industry. She told Breitbart in 2020, I told all my kids, be good with computers, but major in something else. My youngest son is a biochemical engineer with a master's. My middle son is a credited professional in environmental health and safety. My oldest son works in the defense industry. We can't talk about what he does, but he probably makes more than the other two put together. She continued on and said, my daughter married well. And then it says, H-1B visa program isn't being abused. It's working just as intended when Congress created the visa in the Immigration Act of 1990 to help corporations displace and discriminate American workers. Exactly, dude. 32 fucking years of discrimination against Americans is what this bullshit is, dude. Fuck that. It's time to end this crap once and for all, dude. End of fucking story. And that's exactly what the damn Eagle Act is, dude. It's a bunch of fucking scumbaggery to fuck the rest of us over and allow a bunch of corporatized bullshit so the fucking scumbags like Elizabeth Holmes can go fuck over more people is what it is, dude. Fuck that. Fuck that shit entirely, dude. Moving on to the other thing we want to talk about here, which is obviously this other article over here about hang on, let me grab that up real quick. About the fucking JCPA crap that they're trying to shove into the omnibus bill now, which omnibus bill itself shouldn't even exist right now. So, report, lobbyists try to slip controversial JCPA media cartel bill into omnibus bill. And that's exactly why I called out Katie Britt the other day, by the way. For being like, oh, we need to fucking not have this in the omnibus bills. No, we don't have omnibus bills at all, and this is the entire fucking reason why. And by the way, Amy Klobuchar is a fucking white supremacist, dude. And I'm going to say it like it is. This bitch literally railroaded a fucking 8-year-old black child, young black male, to get ahead. She was at one point in time in history in Minnesota, I believe, county level DA, that she then railroaded this young black kid into false confessions for like a murder charge or some other bullshit he didn't do, so that she could further her own fucked up career, dude, is what it is. And she should have been out of the U.S. Senate at least 2 years ago, dude, when she tried to run for the presidency and failed. I am so sick and tired of there not being a piece of legislation in place right now that would essentially be called the Running for Higher Office Act. And it would be literally that. If you're running for a higher office than what you're holding, like if you're a senator in this country or you're a congressman in this country or you're a governor or whatever the case be, and you run for the presidency, guess what? You're no longer that other thing anymore. You can't go back to it if you fucking fail out, is what it is. Fuck you. You're all in or you're all out. It's as simple as that, dude. Anyway, so despite discrediting themselves in an ultimately futile effort to attach the Journalism Corporation and Journalism Competition and Prevention Act, JCPA, a massive handout to big media companies to the annual defense funding bill, media lobbyists are now trying to slip the controversial bill into a potential omnibus package. So while it is still unclear if there will be an omnibus bill at all, sources on Capitol Hill tell Breitbart News that media lobbyists are actively contacting members in a last-ditch effort to latch the bill onto an omnibus bill if it does materialize. This is despite the fact that JCPA was delivered a crushing defeat after its backers in the Senate and House played games with national security with a failed attempt to attach the shitty bill to the NDAA, despite no connection between the bill to the national defense needs and the presence of loopholes that would empower America's foreign adversaries. The purpose of the JCPA is to allow big media companies to form a cartel with the power to force Silicon Valley tech giants to give them financial handouts and other favors. The bill contains several provisions that would allow the biggest media conglomerates to sideline conservative and independent competitors, aka what I'm doing right now here, by the way. It would stifle my free speech and everybody else, for that matter, that do any kind of anything here. Ensuring big tech continues to favor the largest corporate media outlets over conservative alternatives. Not just conservative alternatives, just any alternative for that matter. It's basically a way to suppress alternative news, period, dude. The real news in this country. The InfoWars types, my fucking, grandstands here. Anything any of the people I've talked with on panels do anytime, dude. It's a way to stifle Americans' free speech is what it is, dude. That's all it is. So in addition to the bill's earliest opponents, including Senators Marsha Blackburn, Tom Cotton, and Marco Rubio and Mike Lee, as well as Reps Kevin McCarthy and Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise, more Republicans in the House and Senate came out against the bill amid the failed NDAA push. The incoming House Majority Whip, Tom Emmer from, I think that's Minnesota, MN, reportedly agrees with Kevin McCarthy's position on the JCPA should not be included in any end-of-year omnibus. Well, first of all, it shouldn't be included in anything. Like, this is what I'm so sick and tired of with politicians, dude. With these fucking scumbag-ass motherfuckers that represent us is what it is. You should not be having it in anything. You shouldn't talk about it being in an end-of-year omnibus or anything else for that matter, dude. It should be dead in the fucking water. It should have never made it to this point, dude. Amy Klobuchar should have been told to go fuck herself the second she tried to push that shit into some fucking Senate committee. And the fact that little bitch motherfucker Ted Cruz backed her ass and allowed it to be pushed the fuck out of that committee is why he needs to get fucking smacked in the face too, honestly, at this point, dude. And I'm gonna say it like it is. Like, they both need a good old-fashioned bitch slap across the face is what it is, bro. Seriously. Anyway, continuing on here, then it said Senator-elect Katie Britt also slammed the bill recently, saying it has no place in an omnibus bill. Again, omnibus bills have no place in existence in this fucking country because all they do is inflate our national fucking debt again and again and again while giving fucking handouts to every goddamn other country. We are not the fucking world's bank, lady. Seriously, how hard is that to understand? America is not the World Bank. We're not the fucking world police. It's time to stop fucking giving every other goddamn country a bunch of fucking handouts and tell them all to fuck off and start taking in our fucking actual checks and balances from them and calling in every fucking chip that we have right now to force them to pay on our fucking national debt is what it is, dude. It's fucking bullshit entirely. So, anyway. It's Senator Mike Bruin from Indiana, who, by the way, that guy is trying to run for governor of Indiana in a couple years now. He announced it the other day. So, a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee condemned the bill as a barnacle that should not be added to an omnibus or any other must-pass piece of legislation. Well, first of all, omnibus bills aren't must-pass pieces of legislation, dude. It's a bunch of pork stuff bullshit that all you fucking assholes always shove together as one giant ass fucking package, when in reality, it should be about 150,000 different bills all done at different time periods throughout the year or throughout the 2 years of Congress and stuff at that point. But no, you're all like, oh, we got to give fucking speedboats to people in Sri Lanka. Oh, we got to give fucking border wall funding to the country of Jordan, everything else like that. No, fuck that, dude. Which, by the way, both of those things were in a previous omnibus bill together. As well as other stupid shit like, oh, let's talk about the, $70,000 or $100,000, whatever it was, that was used to fucking do research on shrimp running fucking treadmills, dude. Which, by the way, you can't honestly tell me that's what that's being used for. It's 100% being used for random black ops shit for actual alien technology and like Area 51 places like that we have in this country, dude, is what it is. That's where it's really going, by the way. Y'all might remember a couple years ago, there was the whole thing with the Fitbit trackers, and you had a bunch of people that were wearing them or whatever to get their steps in. and all of a sudden, like one day, somebody inadvertently hacked it or something like that, and then you just had like a whole bunch of dots pop up in random places that shouldn't have existed, and it was all a bunch of black ops sites. That's where that money's really going to fund those places, dude, is what it is. So, anyway. Continuing on here, it said, House Appropriations Committee member Ben Klein from Virginia also said the JCPA should not be lumped in with an omnibus, condemning the practice of attaching controversial bills to must-pass packages like the omnibus. If we want to end the status quo in Washington and best represent the American people whom we were elected to serve, we must ensure the legislation is considered on its own merits rather than be lumped with unrelated spending bills, Representative Klein told Breitbart News. I'm going to call you out on that one, Ben Klein. No. If you want to end the status quo in Washington, D.C. and best represent the American people, sir, it's called do what the fuck we're telling you to do and not pass goddamn omnibus bills that are going to continue to hyperinflate our fucking country, asshole. Like, that's the problem, dude. And that's exactly the whole point. You're supposed to be representing us, sir, not your own fucking special interests, not your own fucking pocketbook, none of that fucking bullshit. You were elected to represent the American people and do what the fuck we tell you as your fucking boss, bro. And if you're not going to do that, you need to be replaced with somebody else that will do that then, dude. And that's the entire problem right now. And this is exactly why I've said for well over a year at this point, this is why we need a 20th Amendment to the Constitution that includes automatic disqualifications from office and for running for office that would include any platform that directly infringes on the constitutional oath that someone would take to office the day they get elected. That would include gun control shit. That would include abortion type stuff. That would include anything that directly infringes on people's right to life and freedoms. So, anyway. It would also include, by the way, people that are already in office pushing gun control, etc. there, dude. Like, they'd be done after that. And they would never hold elect office again after that then. But anyway, where are we at? Yeah, it said Breitbart previously explained how the omnibus bill enables the suppression and sidelining of conservative media. Said even with the hastily added Senate amendment aimed at addressing conservative concerns regarding the collusion between media industry and big tech on the censorship of competitors, the bill still contains plenty of ways for the cartel to sideline conservative media. Provisions to ensure the cartel cannot discriminate on the basis of viewpoint are particularly unconvincing. The pretext used by social media companies, fact checkers, and other arms of the corporate censorship appeties are almost always viewpoint neutral. No one is censored for being a conservative, say the censors. They are censored for misinformation, hate speech, conspiracy theories, and other proponent viewpoint neutral reasons. The bill has attracted derision not just from conservatives, but also from media unions who currently point out that the biggest benefactors of the bill would be large media conglomerates and their hedge fund owners, not frontline journalists or newsrooms. Exactly, bro. It's a bunch of scumbag bullshit, dude, and it needs to die. The JCPA needs to be fucking killed. And honestly, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, man. The fact that we do not have people like a Jim Jordan or anybody else for that matter bringing in a trash can, bringing in a copy of that bill and a fucking lighter and burning that motherfucker on the House floor in a fucking, actual trash bin is everything wrong with this country right now, dude. That would be the thing to show people the fucking truth at that point, dude. Be like, no, we're not going to put up with this crap anymore, dude. We're not going to put up with your fucking bullshit anymore. It's time to take a fucking stand, dude. And honestly, the way that shit is going right now, like, even the good people like Jordan or, any other people that were mentioned here, I'm not going to say McCarthy's a good guy because he's a piece of shit, honestly. But yeah, like Mike Lee, Jim Jordan, Marsha Blackburn, Tom Cotton, these people are actually, from what I've seen, are semi-decent anyway. They have pretty much, for the most part, kept their oath to office. They might be doing some shady-ass backdoor shit that I don't know about, like, insider trading or whatever the case be. It hasn't been outed yet. But the entire point is, if you really want to be a true representative of the American people at this point, dude, it's time to fucking call this shit out for what it is, dude. If nothing else, if you like, obviously, might not be able to burn the fucking thing or whatever the case be on the floor and shit, because that would obviously be the most telling thing at that point if they were able to, and be like, this is how we feel about your bullshit, and just like light it on fire, basically. At least take a fucking version of it, and a pair of scissors for God's sakes, and do some kind of a show at that point, and just cut the motherfucker in half for God's sakes, man. Be like, this is how we feel about your fucking bill, and just start slicing papers in half or something like that, dude. Like, at least that would show the American people you give a shit about us is what it is. Because honestly, right now, it doesn't feel like you do. It feels like you're out for your own best interest in most cases, and you don't give a fuck about American people, dude. And it's the same exact shit with that Eagle Act crap, dude. Like, how the fuck are you going to have that be any kind of thing ever in this country when it directly would fuck over the American people? It would fuck over American workers again and again and again. And what's funny to me is going back to what that Indian Foreign National woman said there about, like, oh, well, in a few decades, it would have to be something where you'd have to basically export these companies to India and stuff like that. It's like, not if we keep actually having American citizens be tech people, dude. And that's, I think, the biggest thing right now, dude. You have these Indian foreign nationals, you have these Chinese foreign nationals, etc., dude, that want our actual, tech jobs to be exported to their countries is what it is, dude. Because it would be a way to, them excluding American citizens now. It would basically be a way to stifle people in the future to go to colleges for tech degrees and stuff like that, dude. And be like, well, why would I even go for that degree when it's going to be, I'm not going to be able to get a job in these places, or it'd be some kind of caste system where I couldn't even, get ahead is what it is based on my merit and stuff like that. And you're basically being stifled is what it is, dude. So, I don't know. It's a whole thing. And like I said, there's a lot of shit out there that needs to be addressed. And it's very easily addressable, by the way. It's just like our border system right now, dude. Open borders right now. Greg Abbott, Texas governor, is doing the shit correct, dude. He is sending down military equipment and National Guard to the border. This is exactly what should be done at a much larger scale. The fact that we have not had active U.S. military service members, Army, Marines, etc., stationed on our fucking border for years now, dude, while a wall is being fucking built, is exactly what's wrong with this country, dude. The fact that you had literally 1,000+ illegals jump our fucking border yesterday in El Paso alone within the time span of a couple of hours shows exactly how fucked this country is, dude. That's why I do not believe that 330 million number ever, dude. We're well over 400 million people in this country right now, dude. And at least 70 million of them are illegal aliens in this nation right now, dude. That have probably gotten here in the last year or two, is my guess, honestly. Under Biden's dumbass regime and shit like that is what it is, dude. And when you have it coming out the other day that they're refusing to deport fucking 90% of illegals in this country, the fuck back out of it, dude, is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that we've had, dozens of fucking child molesters come back over our border in the past few weeks and be caught and stuff like that, dude. Just imagine how many aren't being caught. If they're catching like a couple dozen of them or whatever, dude, how many, hundreds are being able to get away is what it is, dude. And be able to go on and fuck on, a bunch of kids in this country and do all kinds of sex crimes against children and stuff like that after the fact, man. Like, there's a reason why every single day you can look at any state in this country, any city in any state, and just see all kinds of crimes going on like that, dude. Whether it be sex assaults, whether it be rapes, whether it be murders, whether it be all kinds of stuff, dude. And when you actually start correlating it by country of origin status and stuff like that, dude, a lot of the times it's being done by illegals in this country. And it could be addressed at every single level. Like, seriously, look at what DeSantis did. One fucking flight to Martha's Vineyard and people freaked the fuck out, dude. And it was fine. They finally started addressing stuff, is what it was, dude. You had all these motherfuckers, all these white liberals, you know, some of the biggest douchebags in this fucking country, dude. The white leftist people. Finally see the shit right in their fucking face. And what did they do with those people in Martha's Vineyard? Oh, sorry, we can't house you here. They deported their asses out of the fucking vineyard in less than a day. It's like, nope, sorry, not on my doorstep. And it's like, and you think we want them on our fucking doorstep? Fuck no. Like, that's the entire point, dude. Again, we are not the fucking World Bank. We are not the fucking World Police. We are not the world economy. We are the United States economy. And that's the entire point, dude. You know, when I talk about patriotism, I talk about it from the perspective of, I love this country. I hate the fucking government that's running it. I want to see change in that fucking government. Even our founding fathers, hell, what was it? Ben Franklin was the one that said it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That at some point, you need to overthrow. Seriously. There are many things, like that's the thing, people don't realize that. The founders of this country, the Ben Franklins, George Washingtons, the Thomas Jeffersons, the John Hancocks, etc., dude, all the men who signed the Declaration of Independence, who helped write the Bill of Rights, were some of the smartest individuals ever born. And they understood in their time and in the future what was going to need to be done to secure the rights and the freedoms of the people. The entire point of the United States Constitution isn't really the rights of the fucking people. It's what the government cannot do to us. They cannot take away our freedom of speech. They cannot take away our freedom of religion. They cannot take away our freedom of the press. They cannot take away our right to keep and bear arms. They cannot come into our homes and illegally search and seize any of our fucking things, any of our possessions, any of it. They cannot force us to self-incriminate. They cannot fuck with our due process. And the problem is, so many people have forgotten so much of this, dude. There is a reason why I'm actively fighting today against red flag laws in the state of Ohio. Because I will not allow this shit to happen here, dude. Because I was federally swatted 3 years ago. Because I know how many people have been murdered because of red flag laws. People never talk about Duncan Lemp because of Breonna Taylor, dude. He was murdered one fucking day before she was. And it was over bullshit red flag laws in Maryland. The fucking cops killed this guy and have gotten away with murder since then. And it happens more than you think. Gary J. Willis is another one of these people that was murdered under red flag laws, dude. And I would hate to think, if I actually started looking up in Florida how many people were potentially murdered because of that shit, I guarantee you I'd find more names, dude. And every other state that's passed this crap. And the worst thing of it is, you know, you have these leftists that are all like, oh, but red flag laws this, red flag laws that. They never actually catch the people that would be real threats. Look at fucking Indiana, for God's sakes. Indiana's had red flag laws for years, dude. Yet they still had the motherfucker commit the UPS attack. Was it UPS FedEx? Who committed that FedEx attack a few years ago. That dude was still able to go on that fucking rampage and was not stopped because, shocker, fucking FedEx was a gun-free zone. He was the only one armed in that fucking place, dude. And was able to massacre a bunch of fucking people in this country because of that. It's a bunch of bullshit, dude. Every human being has a right to self-defense. It is enshrined in the Constitution that we have a God-given inalienable right to self-defense. Enough is enough of this shit, dude. And it is time for tyrants to be put back in fucking check, dude. Be removed from office, be arrested for the crimes they've committed, etc., etc., etc. There are many things I'd like to say, but I can't say them. At least not on camera, because I'm not going to risk another fucking federal swatting is what it is. And that's the entire point right now. You know? People want to bitch and moan and babble on about some stuff, whatever the case be, dude. And they don't get it. They don't. Many of them just do not fucking get it. There is a reason why I created Ohio Patriot Education Network. There is a reason why I plan on expanding Patriot Education Networks in other states across this country in the coming years. Because we are needed. We are needed as a frontline defense for constitutional rights, for constitutional teaching, for actual firearms training, etc., etc., etc. It's time to get back to a constitutional-based country. Our founding fathers had it right, dude. The problem is so many others after them have allowed it to get to corruption. And that's what I'm here to call out, is all the corruption, dude. And if people hear the message, good. Spread the message. Spread the videos, for God's sakes. You know, share the shit. The message is here for people that want to hear it, dude. Maybe listen. Maybe understand exactly what we're talking about. And then things will actually start to change, dude. If even one person out there is going to have a changed mindset because of listening to my voice, that's awesome. If I can turn one person from a fence sitter into a constitutionalist, that's fucking awesome. And think about how many others can do that at a larger scale. It's time to take back our rights, dude. It's time to start having real men be real men again. Don't stifle people's momentum. Do not stifle people's ability to actually push forward with the education. Because all you're doing is just being an asshole. All you're doing is just being a fucking troll. And as I've said before, am I a free speech absolutist? Hell no, dude. I have the ability to ban people on this channel. And if I believe you're trolling this channel, I will fucking ban you. And I had to do that earlier today, and I will continue to do that shit, honestly, dude. There is no reason for that kind of crap, dude. If you want to have an actual conversation with me, have an actual conversation with me. If you want to come on the fucking panel, I'll drop the link in the description at some point, dude. Hell, sometimes I've done it in the underbar thing before. If you want to come on and actually have a real conversation with me, yeah, we can have a real conversation, dude. If you're going to come on and be a fucking cunt, I'm going to call you out for being a fucking cunt, and I'm going to throw you off the fucking panel, and I'm going to ban your ass from the fucking entire channel then. Because I don't put up with bullshit, dude. I don't have time to put up with that shit in my life. I have way too much going on right now, and I am not going to sit here and have fucking my time wasted by a bunch of jackassery is what it is. And I am sick and tired of the fucking jackassery, dude. 2020 was a fucking catalyst in this country, dude. And it should have honestly been, really truthfully, the year of revolution in this nation. And the fact that so many people were willing to cuck out to tyranny then is such a fucking slap in the face, dude. I went the complete opposite way of that. I went to a point of doubling down and continuing to double down on constitutionalism, patriotism, and Second Amendment advocacy and activism. I have been a gun owner in this country for just over 4 years. And in that time, I have done more for the Second Amendment than most people have done in fucking 40 years, dude. So don't fucking come onto my channel and talk to me about work, motherfuckers. Don't talk to me about me not doing work. I have done more work to preserve the Second Amendment in the state of Ohio in the past 14 fucking hours than most people have done in 14 fucking years, dude. And it's as simple as that. So don't you ever try to fucking derail me. Because you will be fucking banned. And that's all I'm just saying about the end of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.